there tend to be two very different ways of looking at design. One is to say, well, it's a highly specialist activity. You need lots of training and only very particular people can engage in it. The other is to say, no, it's the opposite. Design is something which everyone can understand, and designing at an appropriate level is something that everyone can do. I've done a lot of work with children over the years, and it's quite clear to me that they have a built-in ability to design. It's equally clear to me that our education system is neglecting this ability. We have moved steadily towards a more and more fact-based education approach. What we need now is to rediscover the imagination. We need to rediscover the idea that in the future is going to be made by these children that we are teaching. We need not to tell them what to do, but how to think about what to do for themselves. It will be them, not us, that actually shape the future at that stage. And we need to give them the tools which will enable them to do it. Design ability is one of them. I remember when I was a kid, I used to draw maps of imaginary places. And my dad was particularly good at encouraging me to do this. He joined in, he helped name the places, he helped us to decide what was going to be in them. Now, I was designing. Nobody recognised this, but it was clearly a marker, if anyone had been there to notice it, as to how I might have developed later. All children engage in that kind of play. For example, a neighbour of ours, who's illustrated in Models of Change, used to play with a fossil of a mussel shell. This was George. And George was provided with all the necessities of life. They included dandelions to eat, they included houses made with little stone walls. What Phoebe was doing with this was to design. Her ability in that field was very good indeed. In fact, it's probably true that children have a greater design ability than most adults. Very simple reason for this: they are not given the opportunity to develop and practice this particular skill. Over the last 50 years, you will find repeated statements by politicians, by educationalists, by parents, that they want education to be more relevant to children's lives and to their future lives. And yet, every move made has moved education away from this very simple idea. It has become more theoretical, less practical. It has become more a matter of information than of taking action. In education, theory and practice need to work together. We have got to a point where we have overemphasized not just theory, but fact. What we need is to reconnect these areas, so we need to reconnect knowledge, practice, and theory. What is ideal, I think, is to emphasize designing through making. You then have an outcome as well as simply learning. And by making, I mean in the very broadest sense, so that a child who is taking place in a drama, for example, is engaged in making that drama. So it's not just a question of, say, craft activity, but of activity in school which has some kind of meaningful product. I'm hoping that Loughborough Design Press will make a small contribution to rediscovering the importance of design education. 40 years ago, Bruce Archer said that he thought the most important thing for the future of the planet and human happiness was for all children in secondary school to experience designing. I agree with that, but I would add all children in primary school as well. I think, as Bruce thought, that it is important for the future of the planet and for the happiness of the children involved. Through designing, they will be able to take more control of their own lives and therefore feel more engaged in the community, and on from that, more able to take decisions in the future. It's not an optional thing. It is absolutely fundamental to the curriculum.